coming to you live from the National News Studios. Welcome to the news. My name is Clifford Richards.
And I'm Kasani Balachandra. Here are your top stories for tonight.
State Minister of Finance says traders will not be allowed to make undue profits from sugar sales. President meets gold medalist Tarushi Karunaratne in Kandy. The President introduces her to the new ambassadors. Water levels in many reservoirs in the island increase. Steps to fulfill vacancies of principals without delay. The Arab state leaders request an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. Virat Kohli equals a world record on his birthday.
And we move on to those and other stories in detail. And in your top local story tonight, 10 newly appointed ambassadors to Sri Lanka handed over their credentials to President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
And this event was held at the President's house in Kandy this morning. Accordingly, Juris Bone presented his credentials as the ambassador of Latvia. Leo Tito Ausan Jr. presented his credentials as the ambassador of the Philippines. Ki Kwang presenting his credentials as the ambassador of Cambodia. Joao Manuel Mendes Almeida presented the credentials as the ambassador of Portugal. Arun Kumar Haridian presenting his credentials as the ambassador of Suriname. Isse Abdullahi Asowe presenting his credentials as the ambassador of Djibouti. Clemente Pedro Camenha presenting his credentials as the ambassador of Angola. Kimmo Ladevitra, the new ambassador for Finland. Capaya Rodriguez Gonzalez, the new ambassador designate of Venezuela. May Ellen Stenner presenting her credentials as the ambassador of Norway. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri and President Secretary Saman Ekanaka was present on this occasion. Tarushi Karunaratne, distinguished student athlete who recently clinched the gold medal in the women's 800-meter event at the esteemed Asian Games, was granted the honor of an audience with President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the illustrious Presidential Palace in Kandy this morning. Tarushi Karunaratne was received with a grand welcome to the Presidential Palace, coinciding with the formal presentation of credentials to the newly appointed ambassadors to Sri Lanka. In the midst of this auspicious occasion, President took the opportunity to introduce Tarushi Karunaratne to the newly accredited ambassadors, solidifying the international recognition of a remarkable achievement. Furthermore, 76 dedicated students currently enrolled in athletics at the sports school of Valala A. Ratnayaka Central College, where Tharushi is pursuing her education, were invited to join this momentous event. The student athletes, along with the school principal and also the athletic coach and 6 dedicated teachers, were all present to commemorate this remarkable feat. The President, deeply appreciating the exceptional talent exhibited by Tharushi Karunaratne, conveyed his heartfelt congratulations for her historic accomplishment, marking a return of a gold medal to Sri Lanka in the Asian Games after a hiatus of 21 years. Following formalities, the President engaged in an enriching conversation with Tharushi and the aspiring athletes from the sports school, imparting words of encouragement and wisdom.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Simbalapitiya says nobody will be allowed to have unjust profit by selling sugar above the control price. He further says that the relevant Gazette notification pertaining to price control has been released. The government has decided recently to increase the special commodity tax on a kilo of imported sugar up to 50 rupees. The Consumer Affairs Authority has taken measures to set up a maximum retail price for sugar. According to the relevant Gazette notification, the maximum retail price for a kilogram of unpacked white sugar is 275 rupees and for a packeted 1 kilogram of white sugar is 295 rupees. The MRP for an unpacked kilogram of brown sugar is 330 rupees and for a packed kilogram of brown sugar, the price is 350 rupees. However, consumers and traders complain that there's a shortage in the sugar in market and sugar not being sold at the control price. The minister in charge and the state minister have expressed opinions regarding the imposition of sugar tax and the maintenance of a maximum retail price in the market. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Simbalapitiya said that a main clause included in the Gazette notification was that a maximum retail price for sugar should be imposed along with the imposition of the sugar tax. The aim was to prevent the traders having unlawful profits from the sugar stocks already existing in the country before the imposition of the tax. The cabinet paper was subjected to the main conditions. If there's anyone selling sugar at exorbitant prices, such incidents should be informed immediately to the relevant divisions. Trade Minister Nalin Fernandez said that the imposition of a 50 rupee tax does not mean that the price of the merchandise will also be increased by 50 rupees. Only a fraction of the price increased will be included in the maximum retail price. Steps have been taken to open sluice gates in several reservoirs due to existing heavy rainfall.
And in that backdrop, it has also been reported that the water levels in several reservoirs have gone beyond the spill level. Well, many reservoirs in the dry zone are nearing the overflowing level. As a result, sluice gates in several such reservoirs have been opened, and water level in the Dadiroe reservoir has also exceeded the spill level. Irrigation engineer in charge of the reservoir, Sampat Samrajiba, says 5 of the sluice gates have been opened 4 feet each since this morning, enabling to release a water capacity of 13,800 cubic feet in second. A request has been made from the residents of the low-lying areas of the Dadiroe to remain vigilant. 6 sluice gates of the Vehragala reservoir have also been opened by 6 inches each. The Murragal District Disaster Management Unit informs the people using the waters of Manikganga and Sella Katargama and Katargama areas to be cautious. Thabbo Reservoir in Puttalam is also near the overflowing level. 4 of its 20 sluice gates remain open. A request has been made from the residents near the bank of Miyoya, Tevanura and Mailankulama and Vanathavillur. 4 sluice gates of the Rajangan Reservoir have also been opened, enabling the release of 2,500 cubic feet of water in a second. The water level in the Angamur reservoir was also reported to have gone up, and the 2 sluice gates of the reservoir have been opened. Well, many places are reported to be continuously receiving heavy rainfall, and disaster conditions have been reported from certain locations.
The Department of Irrigation says that dismantling of file sheet of the salt barrier, which is considered to be a major reason for floods in the Mathura district, has been completed. A canal is also scheduled to be dug from the left bank at a cost of 7 million rupees. Our correspondent says several villages in the lower valley in the Mathura district continues to remain underwater, causing adverse effects on the daily routine. A landslide has been activated near the 78th kilometer post in Alakolagala in Valimada due to heavy rains. It has also been reported that an earth slip has started at a location of 25 meters beyond the main road. As a result, the road as well as several houses as well as the lower Silmiapura village are facing dangerous situations. A soil mound has fallen on 6 houses in the Galahagama Grama Nilitari division in the Uva Paranagama. It has also been pointed out that the vehicle transportation in several roads in the area has been obstructed. 24 houses have been damaged due to strong winds in Hakahinna in Galigamua Kekol. Our reporter says power cables were also damaged due to the falling of massive trees. Daily routine in the northern province was also disrupted due to thunder showers. The police has informed motorists to remain vigilant when driving. Many paddylands have also been inundated. The Department of Meteorology predicts rain exceeding 75 millimeters in certain areas in the western, central, Sabaragama, northwestern, north central and southern provinces.
Well, Minister of Education Dr. Susil Premajanta says that measures will be taken to fulfill all vacancies in the principal positions in the school system by next year. He made these observations on the occasion of handing over of appointments to a group of newly recruited principals at the DSN Nayaka College in Colombo yesterday. Well, this event was organized to join the 4,672 new principals of the 3rd grade in the Sri Lanka Principal Service. Senior officials of the Ministry of Education have also graced this occasion. Education Minister Dr. Susil Premajanta says that the next target is to conduct an examination in the principal service within the next few months, thereby fulfilling all vacancies in the middle of next year. Therefore, the minister further says that it is necessary to hand over the appointments of the appropriate time in order to carry forward continuously of the service. He added that for the first time, appointments have been made based on the results of the 3rd grade examination of the principals. The minister added that the proposal has been presented to the forthcoming budget to allocate 1/3 of funds to increase the salaries of the government servants. He also said that salaries of government service will be increased. 441 principals have been recruited for schools in the northwestern province in the presence of Governor Lakshman Yapa Abhivardhana. Letters of appointment were presented to them at the auditorium of the Northwestern Provincial Council. The recruitment process is being implemented to fill vacancies of the principals in 1,204 provincial council schools and in 39 national schools. Well, moving on to a top international story, Arab leaders urged an immediate ceasefire in Israel's military offensive in Gaza.
However, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has indicated such a halt would allow Palestinian militant group Hamas to regroup and attack Israel again. In a rare public disagreement at a news conference in Amman, foreign ministers of Jordan and Egypt repeatedly pushed for a cessation of hostilities, indicating the death of thousands of civilians could not be justified as self-defense. They pointed out that the immediate focus should be on the effort to establish a cessation of hostilities. Blinken engaged in another diplomatic challenge today as he met with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, his first trip to the occupied West Bank since the war began. Reports have indicated that he had reaffirmed the USA's commitment to ensure life-saving humanitarian assistance and essential services in Gaza and emphasized that Palestinians must not be forcibly displaced. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on his second trip to the region since Israel and Hamas went to war last month when the Islamist militant Palestinian group raided Israel from Gaza. In a rampage, Israel says killed 1,400 people with more than 240 others taken hostage. Health officials in Gaza have indicated that more than 9,250 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks since then. The Israeli army has struck Gaza from the air, imposed a siege and launched a ground assault, stirring global alarm at humanitarian conditions in the enclave. The most recent strike on the Maghazi refugee camp in central Gaza early today killed at least 47 people. Food is scarce and medical services are collapsing. The growing number of civilian deaths in Gaza has intensified international calls for a ceasefire, but Washington, similar to Israel, has so far dismissed them. Even though the United States had sought to persuade Israel to accept localized borders, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had rejected the proposal when he met with the U.S. Secretary of State recently. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed agricultural divisions to take measures to increase the country's paddy harvest twofold in the next 6 cultivating seasons.
Well, the Minister Amaravira says that the programs are already underway to fulfill this target. Well, paddy is being cultivated in 1.3 million hectares of land annually in the Yala and Maha seasons. The normal paddy harvest from this extent of land is 5.2 metric tons and 3.1 metric tons of rice are being produced from this quantity of paddy. The annual rice consumption in the country is 2.4 million metric tons. Although sufficient paddy stocks are presently available in the country, the aim of the government is to enhance paddy production to enable the consumers to obtain rice at a minimum price under the food security program. Special programs are scheduled to be conducted to introduce new technologies for the farmers. The Ministry of Agriculture says that reports pertaining to a shortage of mud fertilizer needed for the paddy cultivation in the Ampara district is false. The minister says each agrarian service center in the Ampara district has a stockpile of 100 bags of this variety of fertilizer. Well, handing off air rifles to cultivators in the Hambantota district to enable them to minimize the damages caused to their cultivations from wild animals got underway yesterday. It has been pointed out that more than 31,000 metric tons of vegetables and fruits are getting wasted due to the activities of wild beasts. Reaping of peanut harvest in 50 acres of land in the Alahara Divisional Secretariat Division is underway. Farmers say they have received a bounty harvest from this additional crop. A kilo of peanuts is presently fetching a price of around 500 rupees in the market.
Ahead of COP28 beginning at the end of the month in Dubai, Secretary-General Antonio Guterres travelled to China and Nepal during the month of October to highlight the urgency of reducing emissions to combat climate change. UN Secretary-General Guterres in Nepal issued an urgent call to limit global temperatures rise to 1.5 degrees to avert the worst of climate chaos and prevent the melting glaciers and ice sheets. As a result of climate change and human activities, the hydrological cycle is spinning more and more out of balance, the World Meteorological Organization said early in October, calling for increased early warnings and more coordinated water management policies. The WMO State of Global Water Resources Report 2022 builds on a pilot issued last year and contains more expanded information on important hydrological variables including groundwater, evaporation, stream flow, terrestrial water storage, soil moisture, frozen water, inflows to reservoirs and hydrological disasters. In 2022, over 50% of the global catchment areas experienced deviations from normal river discharge conditions. Also in Geneva, UNICEF presented the Children Displaced in Changing Climate report. UNICEF's global lead on migration and displacement, Verena Gnos, said the report finds that on average every single day 20,000 children have been displaced by floods, storms, wildfires or droughts.
Well, today is the final day of Infotel 2023, that's the National Information and Technology Communication Exhibition. It was held at the Sirimao Bandaranagar Exhibition Centre in Colombo. Well, Infotel National Information Technology and Communication Exhibition was declared open by President day before yesterday with the participation of State Minister Kanaka Herath. Large crowds have flocked to watch the exhibition yesterday and today as well. Small and medium-scale entrepreneurs have displayed their exhibits. Provision of information technology facilities has also taken place. The latest technologies of all service providers in the institution in the state and private sectors were on display. The national television has conveyed information on the exhibition in all 3 days, which was conducted for the 26th occasion.
And here's a few more local news items in brief. An illicit large-scale Arak liquor manufacturing centre in Kalukondayaya, Dumpe was raided by the Dumpe police station today. 12 suspects along with more than 6,000 liquor bottles have been apprehended. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga has directed transfer of ownership of Vihara Mahadevi Park in Colombo back to the Colombo Municipal Council. The park was acquired by the Urban Development Authority for development purposes in the year 2011. The Criminal Investigation Department requests the support of the general public to arrest a female suspect who has been issued with an arrest warrant by the judiciary. The suspect has been accused of engaging in the circulation of forged currency notes in several parts of the island. The 54-year-old suspect named Kumbalatara Arachige Geethani Dhammika is believed to be a resident of Sinigoda Dampe. However, the police media division says she was appearing by the false name Hadun Srialata Silva with an address in Nagoda, Kalutara. An official mobile service of the Sabaragama province governor was held at the Kalawana National School yesterday. Many services including mobile laboratory services, Ayurvedic medical clinics and provisions of instructions on foreign employment were conducted. Nenjamin Tamil musical concert organised by the Evento Investment Institute was conducted at the Nelumpokuna Theatre yesterday. It was presented by background singers of the Indian film industry Harish Raghavendran and Shakti Sri Gopalan. The electronic media sponsor of the concert was Netra Channel of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation.
Well, the director of the National Dengue Control Unit, consultant physician Nalin Aryaratna, says inappropriate disposal of plastic and polythene refuse being brought to religious places has become a source for the spread of the dengue mosquito during the rainy season.
Dengue වගකීම අපේ අරමුණයි. ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය සමග මෝටින් ඩෙන්ගු නැති හැටක්.
The director says that when a person goes to a religious place carrying polythene and other refuse, he or she should not dump such garbage in a sacred place. Such disposal items should be put in a bag and taken away from the place of religious worship. These items should be properly disposed, he says. When refuse is dumped in places of worship, this tends to be filled with water, creating mosquito breeding grounds. Well, word of caution there, and that's the end of the local news. And we'll be taking a break and we'll be back with international stories shortly.
Welcome back, and in your foreign news tonight, the airport of the city of Hamburg was closed last night after an armed man drove a vehicle through the gate. The airport closed for all takeoffs and landings after police arrived in large numbers on the scene to deal with a possible hostage situation which ensued until this morning. The German police confirmed that there was a 4-year-old in the man's car which was parked under an airplane. After firing the shots, the person threw 2 burning bottles out of the vehicle. Police believe a custody dispute is behind the operation.
And moving to Japan, the 12-day Japan Mobility Show, which concluded today in Tokyo, presented a number of concept models for the next generation vehicles to regain people's attention. Well, while releasing the new car models, Japanese automakers brought more than 100 latest units of travel equipment that cover multiple fields of multiple application scenarios to the show. The most eye-catching exhibits included a flying car under development by Subaru, the test vehicle designed to run on lunar surface by Toyota, pony-shaped 4-legged rigid equipment and flatbed that can automatically track the routes, and a mechanical exoskeleton for disaster rescue. The event attracted close to 1 million visitors this year.
Now, New Delhi was wrapped in a thick layer of toxic haze as air quality continued to remain in the severe category. The Indian capital, along with Kolkata and Mumbai, is among the world's most polluted cities today. New Delhi again topped the real-time list with the air quality index, also known as AQI, of 483 this morning, followed by Lahore at 371. Kolkata and Mumbai were also among the 5 worst hit cities by air pollution, with an AQI of 206 and 162 respectively. According to experts, the recommended AQI for any healthy person should be less than 50. Officials say a seasonal combination of low temperatures, a lack of wind and stubble burning in neighbouring states had caused a spike in air pollutants. Many of New Delhi's 20 million residents complained of irritation in the eyes and itchy throats, with the air turning a dense grey. A crisis plan has already been activated in the Indian capital, which includes halting construction works, encouraging the use of public transport and working from home. And in your sports news tonight, Indian batsman Virat Kohli has equalled a new world record on his birthday yesterday.
So, it's a double celebration, and he becomes the batsman who has equalled the world record of the highest number of centuries in the history of one-day internationals. Well, he equals and also qualifies the record of Sachin Tendulkar. Today is the 35th birthday of Virat Kohli, and he's the 7th batsman to score a century on his birthday. The World Cup match between India and South Africa was played at the Eden Gardens ground in Kolkata. The Indian team, after winning the toss, has scored 326 for the loss of 5 wickets in 50 overs. Opening batsman and captain Rohit Sharma scoring 40, and also Shreyas Iyer 77. Kohli was not out at 102. Well, this was his 49th century in ODIs. In reply, South Africa was all out for 83 runs in 27.1 overs. Marco Johnson, who scored 14 runs, was the highest scorer for South Africa. Ravindra Jadeja took 5 wickets. India beat South Africa by a mammoth 243 runs.
First, it's not all that easy, but the time he took. Oh, what a freebie. Giving this a good... Oh, I say, sure does. He's a man who writes his own scripts. Many happy returns of the day to Virat Kohli. His 35th birthday, his 49th ODI 100, and the umpteenth time that he set up the Indian batting.
Well, the winning streak of India is still continuing, and with that excitement, it's time to end the news. Do enjoy the rest of the programs. Take care and good night.
Good night.